All right, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll get started with some comments from Coach and then move into questions.
It was good getting back with the guys this morning, and obviously with the way things finished out last week, we had kind of chose to try to take advantage of a couple days of getting a little bit of practice in, getting a little recovery in, and excited to start in earnest preparation for Indiana today.
Yeah, Paul, obviously Rashad Wallace announced several days ago that he's moving on. I'm just curious, you've counseled guys in the past who are faced with that decision. This is a completely different year, but not trying to ask for state secrets, but can you share any advice you may have given him on the decision he faced this year?
Yeah, I think that really consistent with all of the kids that come to you, you want them to try to have as much information as possible and base that. Now, I think also, you try to listen, and each kid, I think, ends up making a decision for different reasons. And so you try to, one, you want to listen and you want to be supportive. And then two, if there's any help that you can give them to do such a thing, then you want to be a resource, or at least a conduit to the resources that matter most. And so, really a lot of these guys, you have a sense, and you talk, in the summertime, and kind of have an idea of what their thoughts are and what they're trying to do. And I think that helps you in coaching them, for that year, and it brings it all together. And so, kind of after he got injured, and I think he felt that the timing was right, and this was something that he'd been thinking about, and we'll still try to do all that we can to help him in any way that we can be useful to him.
Lemieux? Yeah, Paul, when you look at the last few weeks that you guys have been able to play, Jalen Berger's really stepped up for you in the backfield and done some good things. Just what have you seen from him on the prep side or kind of behind the scenes that has putting him in that position to help you out there?
No, you're right. Jalen has been good and very new at it, right? Like a true freshman. And so I think when you ask, what has he been doing, and the things that maybe you're not seeing or other people aren't seeing, and I think it's, that's the fun part about it, is I think it probably, each week's a little bit different, and it's there's obviously a component of, how do you prepare mentally for a team, the film study that goes into it, and how you approach each practice, and what do you need to do. And then there's another component to the recovery stage. If you do play in a game, and what do you have to do the day after, the post game, the day after the game, early in the week to allow yourself to get ready. And like all freshmen, Jalen's working through that, and that's been fun. And I think each week, we asked him to try to become a little bit better at it. What is better? It's different for each person, and I think Coach Settle does a great job of kind of knowing what each guy needs, and maybe where their strength is, and kind of how they're spending their time. That's, they want to devote to football, but you can spend it a lot of different ways, and even learning how to study film and learning how to self-evaluate. And that takes a coach. And that's where, I think that Coach Settle does a great job of truly assisting our guys. And that's as much of coaching as it is teaching them, what to do on a play or what technique to use in different situations.
Steve McGarty.
Thank you for doing this. I was just checking to see how much, in the event that Penix can't play for Indiana, how much do you know about Jack Tuttle, I guess the backup who would be coming in, and how difficult is it to kind of prepare for a guy like that where maybe there isn't a whole lot of tape on him?
Well, that's pretty much it. Any other questions on that one? No, it's, I got muted here. You know, you try to do your best and obviously, you know, when you don't have as much film, it makes it a little bit more challenging, and yet you see enough and you know what they're trying to do offensively and, you know, obviously the quarterback's been playing at a high level. We don't know for sure, but we certainly know the possibility. And so you just got to do your best in your preparation.
Josh Schaefer.
Paul, with Indiana overall, what sort of sticks out about what they've been doing different this year and maybe last year too that sort of led to this surge from them?
Yeah, I think they've, you know, under Coach Allen, who's I got a lot of respect, you know, kind of, I think they're doing all the things that you should from the outside looking in. You know, he's truly building it. And you look at him now and it's, you know, a very well coached team. Have a lot of respect for their coaches and their players. You can see them playing with confidence. And you know, we played them a few years back and thought it was a really good football team then. And now you see, you know, there's momentum to it. And I think it's become real. And they obviously are producing. You know, when you watch them, they're playing good football. They're doing the things that you have to do to win games, and they're doing it consistently. And so it's a lot of respect for them, and obviously a very good football team.
Back to Jeff.
Yeah, Paul, you guys have run the Wildcat at times, Groshek, Cruikshank, when he was here. It looked like they really incorporated that into their offense against Maryland. What does that do to a defense that allows that to be successful?
Yeah, it's they did a nice job with it, right? And some big plays and had a couple different guys doing it. And I think it's one more wrinkle. You get all the run game that you want with, you know, you still have to cover down on the quarterback. And so it's you know, it's a numbers game, and yet they're working, you know, in many ways they're same plays, and they're doing it with a you know, talented backs. And so it's they do a lot of things. I give them a lot of credit, you know, what they do and how they go about it, and yet not so much that they're just running plays. I think they've got a good system, and certainly the kids understand it, and they're, like I said, they're playing with confidence, but they're, you know, they're not trying to trick you necessarily. They're executing, and I think, you know, many times, often executing at a high level.
Zach Heilprin.
Paul, we saw Kendrick tweet last week that he would have been back for the Minnesota game. What about Danny? Do you think you'll have him come Saturday?
You know, I think I do believe we'll have KP, and then Danny, I think we'll find out as the week progresses.
Back to Steve.
I'm just wondering, I mean, obviously you knew going into this season it was going to be different for most, but the way everything is shaken out with the number of game cancellations there have been across the league, the way the title race is kind of shaped up, has it been even less predictable than maybe you could have ever imagined even before all this started?
Yeah, I don't know that I tried to overthink it going in, and I do know that when we do get those opportunities, you're very grateful for them. You certainly knew of the possibility, and for us it was early that we didn't get to play, and so when you do get a chance to play, you're grateful for it. But I didn't try to figure out how was this all going to play out. I didn't know, and you just wanted it didn't matter what I thought, right? You just wanted to go about it and approach each day and each week the best that you could, and you know, we're hopeful and looking forward to having an opportunity to play against a very good Indiana team this week.
We'll wrap things up with one more from Courtney.
Well, with all the interruptions to the season kind of being off and on like you guys have had or have been, how do you think the offensive line's been able to come together? Because that's usually a position that needs some reps and game reps together. But with these interruptions, how do you think they've come together and, you know, played so far in 3 games?
Yeah, I think they've obviously done some good things, and there's areas that, got to keep working. I do, I think Joe does a great job of coaching them, and I think that, it's helped us that we've got a group that's played a lot. There's experience within the group, and you haven't certainly any position, any player hasn't been able to necessarily get into that rhythm that we're accustomed to. But I think they've done a nice job of with what we've been able to do and practice opportunities and game opportunities. I think they've done a good job. And every time we talk about any player, any position group, any unit team, there's always going to be areas that we want to get better at, and that would be the same with the O-line. But I like that group and appreciate how they've gone about it each day and each week.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Coach, thanks for your time.